The Catherine War veteran's mandibles clicked with profound contentment as he lifted his ceremonial drinking horn, the amber nectar within capturing the cantina's subdued light. A diverse assembly of extraterrestrial officers edged nearer, their myriad sensory organs riveted on his battle-worn carapace. The scars etched across his chitinous armor narrated tales of countless campaigns. But tonight, he recounted his most cherished, the 47th Strike Battalion, he declared, his voice imbued with a distinct blend of pride and disdain unique to warriors. Confronted by a formidable adversary, humanity's vaunted Unit 300, comprising their most exceptional warriors equipped with cutting-edge technology, infiltrated our very fortress on Kepler 414 Bu. He paused, amplifying the suspense, allowing his audience to fully grasp the magnitude of those figures. They presumed they would shatter our defenses, envisioned themselves as saviors. A youthful Zelthani officer, her vibrant blue skin betraying her unease, shifted in her seat. "The humans possess a significant reputation," she began. "Possessed," the seasoned warrior corrected, his tone razor-sharp. "Possessed a reputation, past tense, because I witnessed their demise." His auxiliary limbs moved emphatically, narrowly avoiding a collision with a chair. "Commander Vexar entrusted me with spearheading the counteroffensive, stating, 'If anyone possesses the mettle to subdue Earth's fabled warriors, it's you.'" A hush fell over the cantina as other voices dimmed, replaced by focused attention. Military tales were commonplace across galactic garrisons, but narratives of triumph against human forces were exceptionally scarce. Most species who engaged humans either perished or returned irrevocably altered, whispering of unconventional strategies and unnerving resilience. But here was someone declaring utter triumph. 3 days. The seasoned warrior amplified his tone with each syllable. 3 days of the most savage combat I've ever witnessed. These humans didn't engage like any species imaginable. No structured formations, no adherence to established military protocols. They simply morphed. Each time we believed we'd deciphered them, they revolutionized their strategies. He paused for a revitalizing sip, relishing the liquor and captivated audience alike. But even the finest adaptation offers scant advantage against a 401 numerical disparity. By the 3rd day, we had them trapped within the Southern Canyon labyrinth, devoid of escape. Ammunition was critically low, and our orbital strikes had severed their lifelines. A Graxian engineer in the rear piped up, his translator adding a metallic timbre to his words. The report stated the 47th was utterly annihilated, 0 survivors. The hardened veteran countered with dark satisfaction. "I spearheaded the concluding assault myself, meticulously sweeping through their defenses, eradicating every bunker, every concealed location, every desperate holdout. By sunset on day 3, the 47th Strike Battalion was obliterated, reduced to a mere footnote in a casualty report. A wave of awe rippled through the crowd. Annihilating a complete military unit was a feat of legendary proportions. The seasoned warrior reveled in their adulation, already envisioning his next telling, perhaps a thrilling anecdote about a brutal close-quarters brawl with their commanding officer. "Pardon me," a calm voice sliced through the celebratory din. Like a honed edge, every eye swiveled towards a shadowy corner booth where a lone figure had been ensconced, almost invisible. As the individual rose and stepped into the illuminated space, a collective hush fell over the room. A soldier, unmistakably human, donned the regulation Earth military uniform, However, the array of badges and emblems denoted active service, clearly distinguishing him from civilian consultants or diplomatic personnel. Young, likely in his mid-20s, he possessed short, cropped brown hair and an eerily calm demeanor, familiar to seasoned warriors as either absolute self-assurance or utter recklessness. Insanity. "Pardon the intrusion," the human remarked, his voice courteous, yet laced with a subtle edge that prompted several aliens to instinctively recoil. "I couldn't help but catch fragments of your narrative regarding the 47th. Absolutely captivating." The Kitharan veteran's mandibles pulsed with amusement. A human presence in the cantina wasn't abnormal. This was, after all, a unified military installation. But having one interject into my war chronicle felt akin to a specter emerging at a memorial service, merely sharing anecdotes. "Human, nothing of relevance to your species, oh." "Admittedly, it gives me pause," the individual responded, edging nearer the veteran's booth with a gait that was oddly both relaxed and menacing. "You see, I harbor a deep fascination with military lore, particularly tales of esteemed forces and their ultimate stand." The veteran's resolve faltered subtly. There was a subtle undertone in the individual's delivery that implied this encounter would be far from trivial. The 47th met its demise 6 months prior on Kepler 442b. The official accounts paint a very vivid picture on this matter. Wouldn't you concur? The individual cocked their head inquisitively, almost like a predator, keenly observing its prey. "Intriguing. I inquire if you might illuminate certain specifics regarding the clash." Sheer professional interest, of course. The tavern became utterly hushed. Even the ambient melodies ceased, leaving solely the faint whir of life support and the virtually imperceptible sound of scores holding their breath. "Elucidate further on the specifics," the veteran requested, endeavoring to retain his commanding voice, yet unable to fully suppress a subtle tremble. His voice, the human offered a smile, though far from reassuring. "Regarding the Southern Canyon complex you referenced, I'm intrigued by your tactical deployment. The 47th was notorious for establishing interlocking kill zones in canyon terrains. How did you effectively neutralize such a formidable defensive strategy?" The veteran's multifaceted eyes flickered momentarily. "We employed conventional saturation tactics, overwhelming force, eliminating resistance." The human reflected, absorbing the details. "And regarding the orbital bombardment you mentioned, presented a formidable obstacle due to the canyon's inherent defenses. The region's granite composition, rich with metal deposits, would significantly hinder standard orbital weaponry's impact." A palpable tension spread as the aliens exchanged uneasy glances. The human's intimate knowledge of the landscape was disturbingly accurate. "How did you acquire such detailed geological insight?" the veteran pressed, his tone sharpening. "One learns through experience," the human responded nonchalantly. "Particularly when intimately familiar with the area. Those majestic canyons, a truly breathtaking locale. The sunrise paints the eastern cliffs with an exquisite brilliance, a sight you must have appreciated amidst your intense 3-day engagement." The veteran's mandibles clicked with a hint of unease. Lighting was hardly paramount during active combat. "Naturally," the human conceded, though the lower canyon's thermal vents undoubtedly complicated targeting. Isolating genuine threats amidst those heat signatures must have been challenging. Thermal vents and geothermic anomalies. The veteran's voice softened to a mere breath. "Indeed, remarkably pronounced in that sector. The 47th strategically exploited them in their defensive architecture. Ingenious, really, harnessing the Earth's latent heat to obscure their advances and disorient opposition's awareness. The human hesitated, scrutinizing the veteran's expression with unnerving focus. "And that's surely familiar to you from the invasion, intensifying the concluding conflict?" The Catharan veteran started to reply, thought better of it, and closed his mouth. As the buzz in the cantina quieted, other patrons began grasping that this was far from a simple chat about military campaigns. "You displayed remarkable insight into the 47th's strategy," the veteran admitted at last. "Indeed," the human replied, reaching inside his jacket. "Perhaps I have reason to." He retrieved a small metallic object, gently setting it on the table between them. "I'm intimately familiar with their strategies." The cantina light illuminated the object, a military patch. The design was iconic, a phoenix ascending from flames, 47, boldly emblazoned below. Around the perimeter, in crisp lettering, were the words "Strike Battalion" and "Death Before Dishonor." The veteran gazed at the patch as if it were a primed grenade. "That's utterly impossible. Is it?" the man stammered. Flipping the patch exposed deeper secrets. This specific one was Sergeant Mike Tause's, a distinguished soldier who obsessively gathered planetary rocks. Geology was his passion. The human's grin subtly widened. He favored granite composites with dense metal ores. The cantina buzzed with hushed gasps and anxious chattering as patrons edged towards exits, yet some pressed closer, fixated on the brewing clash. "The 47th was decimated," the old-timer stated, his tone absent. "Its supposed decimation, utter falsehood. No souls spared. I witnessed the carnage firsthand." "Did you?" The man's tone, while calm, held a sinister undertone. "Intriguing. As my intel suggests, the 47th Strike Battalion has been exceptionally operational since their alleged annihilation. 17 distinct ops across 4 star systems." He retrieved a data pad, its screen illuminated, from his pocket. Thrust into a world brimming with seemingly authentic military files. Intrigued? Delve into mission reports brimming with detail, tactical insights, geological findings, and comprehensive post-operation analyses. The seasoned Kitharan's multifaceted eyes locked onto the datapad, mandibles clicking with palpable unease, a clear sign of distress to others. "This reeks of human trickery, psychological games," he declared. "I assure you," the human responded, "the documentation is completely verifiable. The 47th meticulously records everything. Rigorous documentation, exhaustive analysis, continuous learning. It's ingrained in their very training." He meticulously navigated through countless data screens. They were remarkably struck by the ingenious application of decoy positions in the Kepler 442b skirmish, a tactic that significantly disrupted the enemy's targeting algorithms. "Decoy positions." The seasoned officer's voice was almost inaudible. Quite brilliant. Fabricating spurious thermal imprints and bogus fortifications to bait hostile fire, while the authentic defensive perimeter was strategically positioned elsewhere entirely. The human glanced up from their data slate, sporting that unnerving grin. The after-action summary. The assault team appeared convinced they were seizing fortified strongholds, while in reality, they were obliterating vacant bunkers and sophisticated sensor decoys. The cantina's stillness became intensely profound, amplifying the environmental hum into an overwhelming roar. Every extraterrestrial present fixated intently on either the human or the seasoned veteran, grappling with the gravity of the revelations. But the casualties, the veteran murmured, his voice barely audible. We verified the casualties. Bodies, equipment, blood samples. Oh yes, there were undeniably casualties. Agreed. Warfare is a brutal affair. Innocents suffer. Lives are tragically lost. But elite formations, the 47th for instance, excel at transforming strategic retreats into perceived routes, particularly when beneficial to overarching objectives. He leaned in, lowering his voice to a chilling whisper, amplifying the dread. Tell me, Commander, you are a commander, correct? Did you ever ponder the 47th's deployment to Kepler 442b? What strategic significance did that specific planet possess for humanity's forces? The veteran's mandibles were utterly still. He gazed at the human with the palpable look of a worldview imploding, because, from a purely martial perspective, the human continued. Keeper 442b was an exceptionally unorthodox pick for a major offensive. Treacherous terrain, scarce strategic assets, staunch alien defense, hardly a prime objective for elite forces, unless... He paused, the gravity of his words suspended in the air. Unless the mission wasn't solely about conquering the planet. The datapad in his hands pulsed gently, drawing his satisfied gaze. Ah, impeccable timing. I was anticipating this update. Update, the seasoned warrior's voice faltered. Yes, the 47th's files. Routine status briefs. Integral for remaining officially extant while being technically deceased. Quite a valuable predicament, wouldn't you concur? Astounding what feats can be achieved when the adversary presumes your non-existence. He angled the datapad, revealing the screen to the veteran. The display unveiled what seemed to be a dynamic strategic map, showcasing various unit locations spanning numerous star systems. Each point was emblazoned with the unmistakable Phoenix emblem of the 47th Strike Battalion. 17 ongoing operations. The human voiced quietly. 4 star systems, half a year of maneuvers, all executed by a force officially annihilated by a vaunted Ketharan commander in a legendary tactical triumph. The seasoned warrior scrutinized the screen, his multifaceted eyes following the shifting positions. Unit markers as they surged across the tactical display. An impossibility. We reported comprehensive casualties. Command validated the annihilation. Commendations and promotions abounded, undoubtedly. The human concurred. Nothing amiss with honoring exemplary performance, and from your viewpoint, it likely seemed a complete triumph. The 47th can be remarkably persuasive when they wish to vanish. He deactivated the datapad, stowing it, but left the unit patch conspicuously displayed on the table between them. The inquiry, Commander, is how we bridge the gap between official accounts and the gritty reality within the cantina. Patrons now realized they were witnessing more than clashing tales. This was intelligence that could redefine entire war efforts. What do you need? The veteran breathed, his voice hushed. The man's smile shifted, now laced with intrigue. Need? I desire nothing, Commander. Just a cadet here for advanced tactics training. Immersive deep dives into diverse species, cutting-edge military doctrines, and captivating historical battles, striving to grasp how diverse forces tackle intricate operational dilemmas. He lifted the unit patch, scrutinizing it intently. I remain intrigued by a particular aspect. In your post-operation debrief on the utter annihilation of the 47th Strike Battalion, did you document the thermal vents, the granite composite structures, and the precise human tactical maneuvers employed during the conflict? The veteran's mandibles resumed their clicking, now in a frantic, terror-stricken tempo. The report was conventional format operational summary. Damage control, strategic implications, because the man pressed forward, disregarding the veteran's comment. Precise intel remains paramount for subsequent missions. If other leaders contemplate skirmishes with human assets, they'll require detailed expectations, advantages, disadvantages, potential inventive maneuvers. He slumped in his chair, still clutching the insignia. Devastating repercussions would follow. Future mission failures sourced by defective or erroneous insights. Lives would be tragically sacrificed. Dire revelation. The impact of his statement struck the veteran with brutal force. If the 47th persisted, covertly operational for half a year after their supposed demise, every intelligence report stemming from their elimination was rendered not just invalid, but dangerously deceptive. How many? The veteran inquired softly, his voice laced with concern. How many? How many operations hinged on the false premise of the 47th's termination? How many tactical strategies have been crafted predicated on the intelligence culled from that battle? The human's expression deepened pensively. Well, that's a fascinating query. I presume it would hinge on the extent of your triumph's dissemination. How many fellow commanders absorbed anecdotes akin to your compelling narrative, and the number of strategic minds integrating your tactical breakdown into their operational blueprints. He paused, allowing the profound implications to resonate within the increasingly hushed cantina. The 47th mission dossiers do allude to several contemporary skirmishes with extraterrestrial entities seemingly ill-equipped to counter human tactical prowess. Flexibility, mirroring an almost prescient anticipation of diverse reactions, informed by antiquated intelligence. The veteran's multifaceted gaze intensified as the full gravity of the circumstances dawned. If the 47th leveraged their fabricated demise, they'd wield unparalleled access to extraterrestrial installations, communication grids, and strategic summits. Each exchange, akin to this very one, became a treasure trove of insights into adversaries' projections and maneuvers. Assumptions. "We're exposed," he murmured urgently. "Are we compromised too?" The human inclined his head with feigned intrigue. "That strikes me as overly theatrical. It's hardly as if the 47th is deeply embedded within extraterrestrial forces or pilfering intel on critical strategies. They're officially defunct, after all. Defunct units don't submit reports." Yet his inflection implied otherwise, and the datapad practically screamed about ongoing missions for numerous human squads across several stellar regions. The cantina had transcended silence into an almost palpable void. Sound echoed as every alien present grasped they'd witnessed either galactic history's most cunning psychological warfare or a devastating intelligence failure poised to redefine interstellar power dynamics. "What unfolds now?" the veteran inquired, his voice heavy with the prescience of inevitable transformative change. The human rose deliberately, nonchalantly pocketing the unit patch. "Presently," he stated, "I'll savor my drink, finalize my advanced tactical drills, and meticulously submit my report regarding." "Intriguing dialogues gleaned from relaxed social gatherings," he remarked, stopping near the veteran's table. His countenance subtly morphed, hinting at empathy. "Commander, I'd strongly advise reassessing the Kepler 042b after-action report, incorporating updated intel Refined tactical analyses, perhaps? Otherwise? A chillingly human smile resurfaced, the veteran's most unsettling encounter with sentience. All right, let's just see how long it takes for other commanders to catch on to the differences between the official reports and the actual operations. The 47th, after all, compiles incredibly detailed reports. He paused, turning back as if recalling a crucial detail. Oh, and Commander, next time you share that epic tale about wiping out a whole human strike battalion, maybe double-check your audience. You never know who might have been there. As the human strode toward the cantina exit, every alien in the place watched him depart with a strange fascination. Usually reserved for catastrophes or impending doom, the veteran sat motionless, fixated on where the Unipatch had been, mandibles clicking a dirge-like rhythm. The door hissed softly as the human departed, leaving a weighty silence. In that silence, every alien present comprehended the war they thought they knew had just unveiled its true, terrifying nature. In the obscure shadows past the cantina, the presumed deceased 47th Strike Battalion pressed on with their vital mission, ensuring the galaxy deeply respected humanity, one interaction at a time. The priority transmission sliced through the cantina's heavy silence. Commander Vexar's personal communicator blazed with red urgency, an omen of impending invasion or devastating career collapse. He clumsily grabbed the device, his auxiliary limbs shaking while his main hands clutched his drink. "Vexar, this is Fleet Admiral Thex. Respond immediately." The voice crackled, laced with the unmistakable urgency of a superior officer facing a dire crisis. "Priority Alpha clearance required." A hush fell over the cantina as every alien feigned indifference while keenly straining their senses to capture every syllable. Vexar activated his privacy shield, a standard-issue device notorious for deterring casual eavesdropping, not dedicated intelligence gathering. "Admiral Vexar here, responding to priority. Commander, I require instant elaboration on your Kepler 442b mission debrief. Specifically, the eradication of human forces, 47th Strike Battalion." Vexar's jaws tightened around the cantina. Silence fell as patrons braced for triumph or disaster. "Sir, report filed per protocol. Complete annihilation confirmed, 0 survivors." "Then enlighten me. Why are we receiving real-time intel from that very unit?" The Admiral's voice resonated, despite the flimsy privacy shields. Yesterday's dire reports plunged them into silence, so profound it felt like geological ages. Vexar glared at his communicator, as if it had gained consciousness solely to shatter his existence. "Sir, that defies logic. I meticulously oversaw casualty. Verification, bodies retrieved equipment, documented genetic signatures, authenticated. Where were they?" The Admiral's tone implied anticipation of the inevitable, because our intelligence indicates the 47th Strike Battalion has continuously submitted mission reports since their alleged termination. 17 distinct ops, 4 star systems, each documented with details hinting at very much living personnel. A young Zelthani officer near the bar spilled her drink. The shattering glass reverberated, a bone-chilling sound. The Admiral pressed on. "These reports analyze our military installations, deeply assess defensive capabilities, communication protocols, and strategic plans. Intelligence exclusively gleaned from first-hand surveillance and deep penetration." X's multifaceted eyes flickered intensely. "Sir, I'm perplexed. The battlefield was airtight. All human defenses collapsed. No avenues of egress existed. The Admiral's tone chilled. Evidently they did. Or perhaps those positions were never meant to be held. What you perceived as a final, desperate resistance was, in reality, a meticulously planned strategic retreat, engineered to cultivate your precise misinterpretation. The repercussions slammed into the cantina with earth-shattering force. Should the 47th have orchestrated their vanishing act, then every tactical presupposition stemming from that conflict crumbles. Every strategic principle formulated from analyzing the clash rests upon fabricated intel. Furthermore, even survivors couldn't possibly sustain unit integrity, persist in active duty sans reinforcement, depleted resources, or recognition. Essentially, Commander, they'd be operating outside the system. The Admiral's laughter was cruelly sharp, a sound that could shatter the tense atmosphere. Do you grasp the immensity of such a military asset? A covert unit, ostensibly deceased, yet deceptively operational, navigates our lands unhindered due to our oversight, accesses our facilities through our disbelief, amasses intelligence on our endeavors fueled by our assumption of their non-existence. A Graxian engineer, engrossed, initiated accelerated computations on his personal datapad, mechanical limbs clicking with growing intensity against its surface, while other patrons frantically cross-referenced data via their devices. Battle reports and casualty evaluations are met with intensifying dread. Intel reports detailed specific aspects of our defense infrastructure, erected post-Kepler 442b, facilities the 47th couldn't fathomably know without prolonged active recon. Vexasar's tone lowered. The scope of their intel gathering? Comprehensive. It's casting doubt on every military action of the last half-year, compelling us to presume all. Our tactical communications have been thoroughly compromised. Hence this emergency channel. Our standard networks are no longer secure. The cantina's environmental hum felt eerily amplified in the mounting quiet, as every alien patron began to grasp that they were watching an intelligence catastrophe unfold, one poised to fundamentally alter galactic warfare. What are my directives, sir? Your command is to detail precisely how a complete human strike battalion orchestrated their apparent demise under. Your directive: furnish precise intel on human tactical prowess, not the fantastical fiction you submitted as an official account. Decipher how to counter a phantom unit haunting our territory for half a year, while we wrongly rejoiced in their demise. Vexar's auxiliary limbs visibly shuddered. Sir, if the humans have meticulously amassed intelligence for so long, what's their ultimate objective? What grand scheme are they orchestrating? That's precisely what we're endeavoring to ascertain. But they've possessed unfettered access to our military bases, communication grids, and strategic summits. We must presume their knowledge mirrors, possibly surpasses, our own. A fresh voice cut through the comms, sharp and authoritative. Admiral, Intelligence Division here. Initial analysis of the 47th mission reports warrants immediate Protocol 7 deployment across all impacted zones. Protocol 7's designation resonated, chilling every military member. Complete communication lockdown. Operations halted, presumed full intel breach. Implementing Protocol 7, enemy knows all, we know not. Admiral's grave voice signals mass impact. Vexar, immediate intel debrief. Bring all. Sensor data, tactics, proof of confirmation. The erasure of Squad 47 points to either your unparalleled incompetence as a fleet officer or humanity's masterful extended manipulation of military intelligence. The transmission ceased with a crisp click, leaving Vexar stunned. Cantina patrons absorbed the implications. Protocol 7. Absolute lockdown. Every alien military outpost across 4 star systems would operate under the premise of total security breach. A Catherine intelligence officer in the rear offered her voice. Meticulously supervised, the individual present before, did you identify him? Vexar averted his gaze from his communicator, his face betraying a sudden, chilling comprehension of lurking danger. What of him? His attire bore emblems indicative of elevated strategic drills. Access restricted to personnel, cleared for classified intel, and substantiated combat expertise. She paused, allowing the gravity of her words to sink in. Admission to elite tactical programs isn't granted without prior, validated accomplishment. Remarkable efficiency demonstrated in live combat scenarios. The ensuing hush was shattered as multiple extraterrestrials frantically activated individual comms, urgently alerting their higher-ups. Should a highly skilled human tactician have been privy to sensitive military dialogues within their establishment, the intelligence breach would exceed all estimations. Further emphasizing, the intel officer stated, "The timing is profoundly suspect. His arrival coincided precisely as you narrated the account of disbanding the 47th, posed pointed inquiries regarding strategic specifics, and disclosed intel that starkly opposes established documentation. This isn't mere chance. It's calculated operational strategy." Exit's mandibles initiated a frantic clicking sequence, signifying total cognitive disintegration. Are you implying he was intentionally deployed here? That this entire dialogue was meticulously planned? I posit that if the 47th Strike Battalion has been engaged in covert intelligence gathering for half a year, they've had ample opportunity to pinpoint key figures implicated in their alleged demise, have strategically orchestrated their resurgence to inflict maximum chaos on our military efforts. A chilling realization dawned upon several patrons concurrently, the ensuing epiphany rippling visibly through the cantina. Should the humans' arrival have been a calculated move to engage Vexar, the orchestrated unveiling timed for peak impact, then the 47th weren't merely observing. They were proactively engineering alien military reactions. Protocol 7, someone breathed. They tasked us with executing Protocol 7. The ramifications were immense. A total comms blackout signified zero fleet coordination, suspended ops, crippled offensive power, and assumed intel breaches forced a complete strategic overhaul. In a masterfully executed exchange, the deceased 47th Strike Battalion had utterly disrupted alien military ops across 4 star systems. Somewhere, beyond the cantina's dim light, they were likely drafting another meticulously detailed mission log, 3 days post-Protocol 7. Upon arrival at Kitharan Intelligence HQ, the initial security recording indicated a 2-week-old timestamp from Nexus Station Military Depot, a facility allegedly boasting flawless security. A figure in standard maintenance gear navigated restricted zones, yet their gait betrayed an unmistakable human form. Director Zixthal watched the holographic display, captivated by the unfolding unraveling of his career. Sector 7, timestamp 1432. The enhanced image exposed a maintenance worker brazenly extracting classified data from a secure terminal. Alien security patrolled by, oblivious. Facial recognition initiated an instant, chilling response. Match confirmed. Subject, Corporal Lisa Chen, 47th Strike Battalion. Official status, KIA, Kepler 44422b, 6 months prior. Zixthal hissed, "A ghost just pilfered our defensive grid schematics." His assistant, a jittery Grayan, rattled with anxiety. "Alarming distress signals. Sir, the breach extends to 17 distinct incidents across 8 vital installations. All involve personnel previously designated casualties from Kepler 442b. The translator's tone, chillingly mechanical, amplified the dread. These infiltrations span supply depots, communication hubs, and strategic command centers. Shockingly, some agents have been embedded within our ranks for months. A fresh data torrent floods his screen. Security recordings from Helix Station reveal a tech, presumed deceased for half a year, setting up seemingly innocuous comms gear. Why was Sergeant TZ tinkering with our quantum array? Unknown at this time, sir, but this installation transpired a mere 72 hours prior to the initial intel drops regarding 47th Battalion maneuvers. The temporal alignment, it hints at a carefully orchestrated information drip, disseminated on their terms. Zixtol's tone conveyed suspicion, shouldered the burden of realizing that reality was vastly more intricate than the sanitized official reports had led them to believe. They weren't merely collecting intelligence, they were orchestrating its flow, dictating when and how we perceived it. A critical priority alert illuminated the display, punctuated by an alarm signifying imminent catastrophe for someone of high rank. "Sir, incoming transmission from Fleet Command. Admiral Thexnol demands immediate consultation." The Admiral's visage materialized, etched with concern, indicating shared epiphanies. "I require a comprehensive evaluation of human infiltration, their operational duration within our territory, estimated at least 6 months, potentially exceeding that time frame." Zaxtol indicated pervasive data breaches encompassing key military infrastructure, supply networks, communication channels, strategic planning databases, all jeopardized. Worryingly, intelligence indicates their stealthy entry predates the Kepler 442b clash. The conflict itself might have masked operatives embedding within our vital systems. The ramifications struck the room with the force of a cosmic tremor. Presuming the 47th orchestrated their own strategic downfall, leveraging the battle to infiltrate alien ranks, then the whole confrontation was a grand charade from the get-go. Sir, incoming dispatches from various sectors corroborate comparable infiltration strategies. Timeline of events reveals the 47th wasn't a lone actor. Zixth's aide was analyzing galactic data streams, mechanical limbs whirling intensely. This appears a concerted effort by numerous human cells. The Admiral's worry deepened into profound unease. "Unit count unknown, sir. Yet if the trend persists, we could face scores of assumedly neutralized human forces executing clandestine missions within our dominion." A fresh voice interjected, adding to the tense atmosphere. Deputy Intelligence Director Kex Null materialized in the holographic display. "Admiral, we've intercepted human communications suggesting this operation bears a particular designation. Phoenix Protocol." "Phoenix," the Admiral echoed, rising deliberately. "From the embers of their projected obliteration. Communications reveal this has been meticulously planned for over a year. The battles where we presumed human elimination were not defeats, but strategic recruitment maneuvers. Each fallen human soldier, transformed into a formidable, deep-cover operative, Possessing flawless, non-existent documentation, Zixthal accessed tactical evaluations from numerous engagements, each demonstrating complete annihilation of human forces. If precise, we haven't genuinely triumphed against human forces this past year. Every victory was an elaborately staged maneuver to infiltrate their personnel within our infrastructure. Furthermore, Kexnor elaborated, the intelligence amassed transcends mere tactics. They possess exhaustive evaluations of our industrial prowess, resource distribution, governance frameworks, and strategic protocols reveal their grasp on our thought processes, planning methodologies, and threat responses. The Admiral's image wavered, absorbing the magnitude of the intelligence breach. Their ultimate objective? Their long-term strategy? Uncertain, sir. However, the underlying pattern suggests they are not preparing for traditional military conflicts. This extensive data collection hints at a meticulously planned operation demanding profound insight into the functional intricacies of our entire civilization. A critical priority alert disrupted the exchange as novel data streams cascaded across the screens. Security recordings from the prior 3 days exposed intensified action at compromised human facilities. Staff previously assigned to inconspicuous maintenance and support roles were now illicitly entering top-tier systems and exfiltrating substantial quantities of confidential information. They're expediting their schedule, Zixth remarked. Something has initiated a transition from covert intel acquisition to overt data harvesting. Sir, urgent reports confirm multiple deep space monitoring hubs have gone dark, each serviced by the now rogue 47th Battalion. Their augmented limbs moved with such blinding speed, a mere silver flash. Intelligence gathering is superseded. They're aggressively sabotaging our entire surveillance infrastructure. The Admiral's face morphed, a chilling mixture of awe and dread. They're systematically blinding us, extinguishing our capacity to observe their movements as they finalize their undisclosed operation. They've been strategizing transmission inbound from the Earthling who triggered this disclosure. He's seeking an audience. Silence descended upon the room as the ramifications sunk in. The human cadet who challenged Commander Vexar, 72 hours prior, was engaging with alien intellects. Either he was acting rogue, or this entire chain of events had been orchestrated. With uncanny accuracy, patch him through, the Admiral commanded. The Earthling's visage materialized beside the extraterrestrial officers. His demeanor remained composed. Unsettling confidence gripped the cantina. Admiral. Director, Deputy Director, hopefully these intelligence revelations prove enlightening. What do you desire? Zexthal's voice, heavy with the weariness of shattered faith in coincidence, echoed. Nothing excessively intricate. Merely a discussion exploring common ground and converging anxieties. The human maintained a conversational demeanor, yet a subtle undercurrent hinted at the inevitability of this exchange, regardless of alien consent. You see, Phoenix Protocol faces a pivotal choice: remain clandestine, amassing intel and preserving our edge, or explore a deeper alliance. The Admiral's tone was laced with menace. You've breached our defenses, jeopardized our safety, and distorted outcomes of key battles. What conceivable collaboration could pique our interest? The kind that averts Phoenix Protocol's impending escalation. With chilling politeness, the simulated smile was utterly unsettling. Intelligence acquisition was merely the prelude. We've dissected your societal structures, military protocols, and decision-making algorithms. Now, possessing an intimate understanding, we can anticipate your reactions to a range of triggers. Consider theoretical exercises. What transpires when your communication infrastructure collapses or your logistical arteries are severed? Coordinated subversion or discovery of compromised strategic databases within the last half-year birthed an unnerving silence, a palpable void. Each alien present now grasped the situation, not mere intel acquisition, but an adversary meticulously studying and preparing to cripple their civilization's infrastructure. The Admiral, voice hushed, inquired, "Precisely what collaborative endeavor are you suggesting?" One where we collaborate harmoniously, eschewing circumvention. A synergistic blend of human ingenuity in unconventional operations and extraterrestrial resources, forging infrastructure to confront shared perils. The Phoenix Protocol evolves into a cooperative alliance, shedding its unilateral nature. Should we decline, the human's demeanor remained unchanged, yet his inflection hinted at anticipation. Then you shall witness the expertise the 47th Strike Battalion honed during their 6 months of clandestine existence. Admiral, affirmative. You absolutely don't want to discover what transpires when humanity abandons playing possum and instead showcases precisely why we are so incredibly tenacious. The broadcast concluded, leaving the alien intelligence officers dumbfounded, grappling with the stark truth that their comprehensive assessment of human military prowess was an intricately fabricated illusion. Somewhere beyond their surveillance, the Phoenix Protocol patiently awaited their response. A fortnight later, Commander Vexar encountered the most bizarre. His decorated military career had him strategizing across from Corporal Mike Torres in a fortified briefing room, devising operations against his own kind, the corrupt officials. The supposedly deceased human nonchalantly analyzed intel reports while devouring a sandwich assembled from 3 exotic alien edibles. Your esteemed Colonel Hexar has been diverting supply allocations for the past 1.5 years, Torres stated between mouthfuls, pushing a datapad across the table. We possess undeniable evidence, financial ledgers, comprehensive records, and incriminating surveillance footage of his illicit activities. Selling cutting-edge military hardware to shadowy black market operatives, Beekskar scrutinized the damning evidence, his face mirroring a man witnessing his reality shatter and reform before his eyes. How did you amass such granular intel on deep-seated corruption? The Taurus replied with a wicked grin. The deceased possess unparalleled auditing capabilities. Nobody scrutinizes maintenance staff accessing crucial financial systems. Nobody tracks the movements of personnel who are officially non-existent. We've meticulously documented every anomaly, every questionable transaction, every instance of military assets pilfered for private enrichment. The datapad held damning proof to court-martial a significant portion of Sector Command. Financial ledgers detailing methodical resource misappropriation, communication transcripts exposing top-secret intel peddled to enemy factions, and covert recordings exposing senior officers engaged in illicit weapons trading. The extent of this corruption is simply breathtaking. So this is the true reason you exposed yourselves, Vexar now understood. Not merely to showcase infiltration tactics, but to unveil the deep-seated decay within our very leadership. Taurus launched a vivid holographic display, dissecting Phoenix Protocol's organizational framework. More critically, we sought allies who grasped the profound truth. The gravest perils often lurk within. The display unveiled the staggering extent of rogue human operations. Scores of supposedly neutralized units were actively engaged across numerous star systems. Their mission: systematic intelligence acquisition and the meticulous documentation of corruption. Yet their actions pointed away from conventional warfare. Instead, they were crafting rationales for internal revolution. You've spearheaded the most extensive anti-graft probe ever undertaken across the cosmos, Vexar remarked deliberately. We've mastered collaboration with extraterrestrial armed forces, shifting from opposition to alliance, Torres clarified. It appears the vast majority of warriors, irrespective of their origin, favor capable command over dishonest governance. Virtually all officers desire resource allocation towards genuine combat readiness instead of private aggrandizement. A high-priority warning shattered their discussion as Admiral Fecknell's image materialized in the briefing room, his visage burdened with the profound understanding that weeks uncovering truth exposes reality's deeper intricacies than sanitized reports portrayed. Commander Vexcar, Corporal Torres, I presume your cooperative efforts are yielding fruitful results? Exceedingly so, sir, Vexcar responded. The intel gleaned by the 47th unveils pervasive corruption entrenched within our command echelons. Individuals warranting apprehension, misappropriated supply conduits demanding comprehensive rectification, and communication channels jeopardized by treacherous officers peddling access to enemy forces. Torrent's tone turned formal. Phoenix Protocol isn't about weakening alien armies. It's about enhancing them. We've dedicated half a year understanding your systems, pinpointing vulnerabilities and inefficiencies, detailing oversights your own protocols overlooked. The Admiral's face hinted at dawning comprehension of humanity's achievement. You're suggesting an enduring collaboration. Marrying unparalleled human intellect with formidable extraterrestrial weaponry, our proposition envisions deceased operatives as exceptional supervisory entities, Torres articulated. Personnel operating beyond the purview of official records facilitate corruption investigations devoid of political entanglements. Unsanctioned operations tackle issues impervious to conventional protocols. In return, you gain military prowess unmarred by internal decay and intelligence initiatives aligned with strategic military goals, not personal enrichment. You unlock a collaborative synergy, bolstering both species, not diminishing them. Vexar scrutinized the data arrayed on the briefing table. Fiscal reports, monitoring films, correspondence records, all chronicling systemic breakdowns within alien military command. How many other species are engaged in this alliance? 17 distinct military factions across a dozen star systems, each realizing that their foremost security risks originate internally, not externally. Torres's smile suggested quiet triumph, implying that fortune favors the prepared. Endemic corruption plagues us all, yet so does the yearning for capable leadership. The Admiral's visage shimmered, assimilating further data. Sector commands report identical disclosures: rampant corruption, organized resource pilfering, jeopardized security measures, all chronicled by ostensibly terminated human units. Phoenix Protocol, Phase 2. Torres elaborated. Now, having pinpointed the maladies, we commence remedial actions, collaborative operations, communal intelligence, synchronized anti-corruption initiatives, a synergy that elevates us all. Effective, if corrupt officials impede these reforms. Torres's expression transformed. reminding everyone why humans were renowned for tactical ingenuity. Well, Admiral, that's Phase 3. Trust me, you really don't want to discover what happens when the officially deceased start making people officially jobless. 6 months later, galactic military effectiveness improved demonstrably. Corruption decreased sharply across species, and in official records, the 47th strike. The battalion's eliminated status on Kepler 442b was maintained. After all, the most impactful operations are often those shrouded in secrecy.